Now, from 1 billion, less than 100 years later, 12 trillion. And if you add in Social Security, if you add in Medicare and Medicaid, the debt is over $60 trillion. America cannot pay that kind of debt. Are you listening? Who is Goldman Sachs? Lehman Brothers, AIG, Merrill Lynch, Bank of America. See, they were all a part of a scheme. But this scheme is the work of a devil. No, I'm sorry. It's the work of Satan. Dumb devils participated. Now look at this. See, Muslims say, Maliki Yaumiddin, that Allah is master of the day of requital, master of the day of religion, master of the law of justice and judgment. And if Satan's time to rule is up, then whatever he's doing, God is over it. He's not doing it on his own. That's why the Quran said, and the Jews planned, and Allah planned. And Allah is the best of planners. Ever since 1914, there has been an effort by certain groups, the Trilateral Commission, the Bilderbergs, the Council of Foreign Relations, CFR, and these are forces along with the Freemasons that are secret societies that are desirous of producing a world government that's run by an elite that controls the resources of every nation on the earth. So the unraveling of this world in the mind of Satan was to set up a one world government where he would be in charge. Now, since 1913, look at this. Woodrow Wilson, who presided over both the United States and Princeton University, Woodrow Wilson said, no, the war, World War I, began in 1914. But Woodrow Wilson, who was our president, said that we were not going to get involved in such war. But he was over Princeton, and he used his prominence in setting the nation's educational goals and policies. Listen to what he said. We want a class of persons to have a liberal education, and we want another class of persons, a very much larger class of necessity in every society, to forego the privilege of a liberal education and fit themselves to perform specific, difficult manual tasks. So what this president was in favor of through education was to set up a class that would have liberal education, but the larger class would be the workers for the educated, but on top of them, the satanic mind was operating. I hope I'm not boring you. Now, there's a book out called The Confessions of an Economic Hitman. Have you heard of that book? I'd like to read something that Mr. Perkins wrote about himself. Listen to him. He said, my job. Wait a minute, he's on a job. Who's he working for? Who's his employer? Watch this. My job is to encourage world leaders to become part of a vast network that promotes United States commercial interests. In the end, those leaders become ensnared in a web of debt that ensures their loyalty. We can draw on them whenever we desire to satisfy our political, economic, or military needs. If an economic hitman is completely successful, the loans are so large that the debtor, the recipient country, is forced to default on its payments after a few years. And when this happens, then like the mafia, we demand our pound of flesh. This often includes one or more of the following: control over their United Nations votes, second, the installation of military bases in their countries. America has over 130 military bases in countries all over the world. What does she need that for? She is an imperialist. And this is the American empire. Or the last thing is access to precious resources. We got you in debt. We take your resources, such as oil or the Panama Canal. Of course, the debtor still owes us the money, and another country is added to our global empire. How many of you are Panamanians? Anybody here from Panama? Thank you. Yes, brother. You know, they went to war in Panama, and over 4,000 Panamanians were killed. But the war was against the Panama Defense Force. Why? Because under Jimmy Carter, he signed over the Panama Canal to President Torrijos. When Reagan came in, he said that canal should never be in the hands of the Panamanians. And in the contract, if you will, it said that the Panamanian Defense Force would have to be able to defend the Panama Canal. So when Reagan and Colin Powell sent stealth bombers into Panama, it wasn't just about Manuel Noriega it was about destroying the Panamanian Defense Force so that they would forfeit ownership of the Panama Canal. And now it's back in the hands of the Americans. All of these are tricks, lies, deception.